If you were born in the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s, I need you to watch this complete video before the close of this month because the Social Security Administration has rolled out updated regulations taking effect in July 2026 that are directly reshaping how benefits are calculated, distributed, and adjusted for individuals in precisely these three birth generations. And the changes are not identical across all three groups. What applies to someone born in the 1940s differs from what applies to someone born in the 1950s and differs once more from someone born in the 1960s. That is exactly why the majority of general Social Security videos out there are failing to give you the full story. This video is going to walk through what July's new regulations mean specifically for your birth generation, what action each group must take before the relevant deadlines pass, and what happens to your monthly payment if you simply do nothing. Please pass this along to every person in your household or extended family who was born during any of these three generations before they miss something they cannot recover. I want to be completely transparent about what is genuinely at stake here. I have seen retirees born in the 1950s sitting on uncollected retroactive payments from the Social Security Fairness Act recalculation that have been in a suspended status for several months simply because no one informed them that their direct deposit details needed to be confirmed before the funds could be released. I have seen individuals born in the 1960s unknowingly approaching a filing deadline that will permanently lock in a reduced benefit amount, not because they consciously chose to file early, but because they had no awareness that a new July regulation altered the notification procedure the SSA uses to alert them. And I have seen retirees born in the 1940s, people who have been in retirement for many years, miss a survivor benefit correction that would have added more than $300 per month to their payment for the remainder of their lives because the window to request that correction quietly closed while they were still waiting for someone to sit down and explain it to them. Every single one of these outcomes is entirely preventable. This video exists so that none of them happen to you. By the time this video ends, you are going to have a clear understanding of what the new July Social Security regulations mean for each of the three birth generations, the 1940s, the 1950s, and the 1960s, along with the specific action each group needs to take without delay. I'm going to walk through all three groups in a clear and organized way, but I want you to remain through the section addressing people born in the 1960s in particular, because that group is facing the most time-sensitive deadline of the three, and the one where failing to act produces the most permanent and irreversible consequences. If you were born in the 1960s or you have a family member who was, that portion of this video alone justifies staying until the end. Let us get into it. Before we go through each individual group, take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel and activate the bell notification. Social Security regulations are changing more frequently throughout 2026 than they have at any point in recent decades. And when rules are revised, the SSA sends out a standardized form letter to a general mailing address and moves forward without further explanation. Nobody calls to clarify what those changes mean for your particular birth year, your specific benefit type, or your individual financial circumstances. What I do on this channel is monitor every SSA rule modification, break it down according to who it affects and in what way, and deliver that information to you while there is still time to respond. The people who subscribe here do not get caught off guard. Subscribe now and let us work through all three groups. If you were born in the 1940s, you are currently somewhere between 77 and 85 years old, and you have been receiving Social Security benefits for anywhere from 7 to 23 years, depending on when you originally filed your claim. The July 2026 regulatory change that most directly affects your group involves survivor benefits and the correction process for long-term recipients whose benefit calculations contain historical errors originating from the early period of their claim. Here's the background context. When seniors in this age group originally applied for Social Security, many of them doing so in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, the calculation systems the SSA relied upon had documented data entry and earnings record limitations that in certain cases caused benefits to be calculated using incomplete or marginally inaccurate earnings histories. The SSA has been aware of specific categories of these discrepancies for a number of years. What shifted in July 2026 is that the agency put into place a new internal correction protocol that automatically flags accounts within this birth generation for a records review process. And when a discrepancy is detected, a written notice is generated and sent to the recipient on file. Here is where the problem arises. Many retirees born in the 1940s have relocated since they originally submitted their claim, have not updated their mailing address with the SSA, or have family members overseeing their affairs who may not recognize a correction notice when it appears in the mailbox. The new July protocol generates a 90-day response window beginning from the date the notice is formally issued. If no response is received within that window, the correction process is closed and the account is designated as reviewed with no change recorded, meaning the error remains in place permanently and the benefit continues at the lower and incorrect payment amount indefinitely going forward. If you were born in the 1940s, the steps you need to take immediately are twofold. First, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov or contact the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 and verify that your current mailing address and all contact details on file are accurate and fully up to date. Second, ask the representative explicitly whether your account has been flagged under the July 2026 Earnings Record Review Protocol and whether any correction notice has already been generated and sent out. If a notice has been issued and you were never aware of it, request that it be reissued to your current address and confirm the start date of your 90-day response window from that newly issued date. Do not assume your information on file is current. Do not assume that receiving no correspondence means no correction is pending. A single phone call could uncover a benefit increase that has been sitting inside the system waiting for a response that never arrived. If you were born in the 1950s, you are currently somewhere between 66 and 75 years old, which means you are either freshly retired, actively navigating Social Security decisions in real time right now, or moving toward the critical window where the choices you make over the next 12 to 24 months will permanently define your monthly benefit payment for the rest of your life. The 2026 regulatory change that most directly affects people born in the 1950s is the revised implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act. Specifically, the acceleration of retroactive payment processing and benefit recalculation for recipients in this birth generation who were affected by the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. If at any point in your working career you were employed by a state or local government, a public school system, a federal agency prior to 1984, or any employer that did not withhold Social Security taxes from your paycheck, and you are currently collecting Social Security, your benefit may have been reduced by the WEP or the GPO for an extended period of time. The Social Security Fairness Act permanently eliminated both of these provisions, and the SSA has been working through recalculations and distributing retroactive payments to those who were affected. But the July 2026 update introduced a new verification step specifically for recipients in this birth generation, meaning that before the SSA releases a recalculated benefit amount or a retroactive payment to someone born in the 1950s, they are now required to confirm current direct deposit details directly with the recipient themselves. This means that if you fall into this group and your direct deposit information has been updated at any point during the past 3 years, or if you simply are not certain that what the SSA has on file is still accurate, your recalculated benefit and any retroactive funds you are owed may be sitting in a suspended status right now, waiting on a verification step that nobody has reached out to tell you needs to be completed. Call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 today and ask directly whether your account has a pending WEP or GPO recalculation, whether a retroactive payment has been calculated on your behalf, and whether the direct deposit information currently on file is confirmed and up to date. That single call could release a payment that has been sitting in a processing queue for months. Retroactive payments for individuals in this birth generation who were subject to both the WEP and the GPO are averaging somewhere between $2,400 and $8,500, depending on how long the reduction was applied and the size of the original benefit. That money belongs to you. It has been calculated. It is waiting to be released, but it will not move forward until you make that call. If you were born in the 1960s, you are currently somewhere between 60 and 65 years old, And the July 2026 regulatory change affecting your group carries the most time-sensitive and permanently consequential implications of all three birth generations covered in this video. This is the section I told you to stay for. People born in the 1960s are either approaching Social Security eligibility for the first time or have only very recently become eligible. And the July 2026 rule introduces a new pre-filing notification requirement that changes the manner and timing by which the SSA must inform you of your full range of benefit options before your application is processed. Under the previous process, a substantial number of seniors in this age group filed for Social Security without ever being presented with a clear side-by-side breakdown showing what their benefit would look like at age 62 versus full retirement age versus age 70, and without receiving a transparent explanation of the permanent reduction that locking in an early claim produces. The new July regulation requires SSA representatives to deliver this comparison in written form before processing any new claim submitted by someone born in the 1960s. Here is why this carries such urgency right now. Your full retirement age, if you were born in 1960 or any year after that, is 67. Filing at 62 permanently cuts your benefit by 30%. Waiting until age 70 increases it by 24% above your full retirement age amount. The gap between filing at 62 versus holding out until 70 for someone whose full retirement age benefit is $2,000 per month is $180 every single month permanently for the remainder of their life. Spread across 20 years, that difference accumulates to $259,200. And yet more than half of Americans in this age group file before reaching their full retirement age. Not because filing early is the wrong call for everyone, but because the overwhelming majority of them never had those numbers presented to them in clear, straightforward terms before they signed their paperwork. The new July rule also introduced a 30-day reconsideration period for new claims submitted by people born in the 1960s, meaning if you submitted a Social Security application within the past 30 days and you belong to this birth generation, you currently have a 30-day window running from your original application date to withdraw that application at absolutely no cost. Reconsider the age at which you are claiming and resubmit at a later date to lock in a permanently higher benefit amount. This is separate and distinct from the standard 12-month SSA 521 withdrawal process. It applies specifically to new applicants in this birth generation under the July rule, and it expires precisely 30 days from your application date. If you filed recently and you have any reservations about the claiming age you selected, call 1-800-772-1213 today and ask about the July 2026 new filer reconsideration window before your 30-day period runs out. Here is the consolidated picture for all three groups. If you were born in the 1940s, call 1-800-772-1213 today and verify that your mailing address on file is current. Then ask whether your account has been flagged under the July Earnings Record Review Protocol. A 90-day response window may already be actively counting down on a correction notice you never received. If you were born in the 1950s, call that same number and ask specifically about any pending WEP or GPO recalculation tied to your account and confirm that your direct deposit details are current and have been verified. Retroactive payments averaging between $2,400 and $8,500 may be sitting in a processing queue, waiting solely on your confirmation call to move forward. And if you were born in the 1960s, internalize this clearly. Filing for Social Security at 62 versus waiting until 70 represents a permanent monthly difference of up to $1,080. And if you submitted a new application within the past 30 days, the July 2026 new filer reconsideration window gives you a genuine opportunity to revisit that decision before it becomes permanent and irreversible. Three birth generations, three distinct July regulatory changes, three separate actions that need to happen right now before deadlines expire and available options disappear for good. If you were born in the 1940s, call today to verify your address and inquire about the Earnings Review Protocol. If you were born in the 1950s, call today to confirm your direct deposit is accurate and ask about your WEP or GPO recalculation status. And if you were born in the 1960s, know that your full retirement age is 67. Understand the permanent financial cost of claiming before that age. And if you have filed recently, call today to ask about the 30-day reconsideration window before it closes. The number for all three groups is 1-800-7721-213. Log in to ssa.gov to review your account details directly. Please share this video right now with every member of your family born in the 1940s, 1950s, or 1960s, because each of these three groups has something specific and genuinely urgent to act on this month. Subscribe to this channel so you are never the last to learn about a Social Security update that has a direct impact on your monthly payment. The rules changed in July. Now you know exactly what you need to do about it.